Welcome po to Lira and Law, our usual Thursday get-together between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. Broadcasting live as usual po from London, England. Ang pangalan ko po Lira Simong Kapatbat. I am a solicitor in the UK and I am your host. No, for those of you who are new, just to say, I'm a practicing solicitor. I have been a practicing solicitor for, wait for it, 33 years. 33 years, a long time. So I've been doing this for a while. My firm, Douglas Simon Solicitors, we are based in London, in Richmond, in fact, the lovely place Richmond, which is the end of the district line, the green line. Yeah. We've been established 28 years. Yeah, 28 years. And as for me, as I've said, 33 years. So actually, together, my firm and I, together means that we have been around in doing law for over 50 years, 51 years. Wow, a long time. So I'm hoping that I will be able to help now by at least hopefully dealing out with some questions, maybe even pointing you in the direction where you want perhaps to that you require, or kaya answering questions. No, so it's but it's great to be here. Thank you very much for joining me. And as I say, welcome to Lira and Law. Hello kababayan and hello friends. Okay. Now, as usual po, ang pag-uusapan nga natin are issues that concern you. Now, I would just say at the outset nga, I have had, since Tuesday, I've had a whole load of questions, panicked telephone calls actually, about the changes to immigration law. That was published, I think it was only on Monday. It's a white paper, pag-uusapan din nga natin yung mamaya. And they are proposals by this government nga to immigration law, the changes that are proposed. It's quite a lot, but that's not our topic now for tonight, but it is something that we will deal with. And so, continue tuning in, because it is something that I will also be dealing with, just partly because it's part of the questions. Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be a busy hour nga. So start question po natin is to do with spouse partner application from abroad, and of course ang topic nga is actually from one of our viewers, no? And so I'm going to read that, and we're going to deal with it in detail. So some serious bragging rights to the viewer who posted this, no? So sabi po niya ito, hi, sabi niya, my husband and I have been married for 4 months. Before that, we've been together for 5 years. We're trying to get over to the UK, but we do not know where to start for our spouse visa. He doesn't have a lot of savings and currently works on a £14.10 per hour salary. His mom would write us a sponsorship letter stating we'd be together at their house temporarily until we get ourselves sorted when I move over. His dad sent around £3,000, to help with our fees, etc. To cover the rest of the fees, he wants to take a loan. Now, the first question is, would this actually work? Right? And then secondly, sabi niya, the current system in the Philippines says we'll get our PSA, previously, NSO nga, yung marriage certificate, in 6 months to 1 year. Okay. What we have the certificate, the certificate of marriage from the local civil registry. Can we use this? We've tried electronic endorsement, but they said we can't because the documents already underwent the regular process. What initial steps do we take? This is a great question. Dahil nga, it's practical. It's certainly very relevant to what's going on now, because it's dealing now with an application from abroad and problems that you may encounter. Because it's one thing, so yung mga abogado nyo, they may well say, these are the conditions that you need to satisfy, and they have to do that. No, they should do it in order to enter the UK as a spouse or indeed as a partner, unmarried partner nga. But it's another to, of course, apply those to the facts. And yung nga, how do you prove that you're actually married? if you can't get the marriage certificate nga from the PSA. No? So it's a very practical question. And yung ang sweldo nga ng asawa niya, £14.10 per hour. How do you satisfy then? How do you calculate the income that's required? And alam nyo naman, no, especially if you regularly tune in, nagbago na yung income requirement, the minimum income requirement. It went up from £18,600 to now £29,000, and that happened in December 2023. Okay, so before this government came into play. Anyway, so it's a great question. So yun ang pag-uusapan nga natin. I'm going to go through our viewers' question one by one, and hopefully nga deal with the issues that concern. And also, pag-uusapan nga din natin, ano ba mga conditions in relation to spouse application. So kasal nga, in this case, yung our viewer said kasal nga sila. But what happens if hindi nga kayo kasal? No? The partner route. So it's a great question. I like this question. It's practical, as I say, and it's real life. So yun ang pag-uusapan po natin mamaya. Now, so it's a great topic. So as I've said, it's spouse partner application from abroad, or rather, I suppose it's more spouse application from abroad and the problems you may encounter. So as usual, we try to always be practical with our approach on our show, because I think that's probably what is helpful, no? At of course, titignan nga din yung batas nga. So hindi lang yung pag-uusapan natin. We're also going to be looking at least part of the changes that they have proposed, no? That was only published. The white paper was only published, I think, on Monday. So it's really very, very new. So titingnan din natin what unmarried partner route in relation to the United Kingdom, kung nandito na nga yung application. We're also going to be looking at divorce. We have lots of questions. I mean, I'm always grateful when people message me and put your questions. And it's become a very popular segment of our show, the question. So, of course, we're not going to shy away, of course, from in dealing with the questions, and I'll try my best, as I say, to at least give you maybe some practical tips. But nothing beats seeking independent legal advice, okay? Because there's just so much you can say or deal with in the limited time that we have. So, kung nalilito kayo and you have specifics na you want to know about, by all means, or you should seek legal advice. Most solicitors, like we provide advice on a fixed fee interview. So you know exactly what you need to pay for that time, and they should be able to at least deal with some of the questions that you have, the specific questions that you have. So nothing beats independent legal advice. And you can also get, like we do, we have remote meetings kung malayo nga kayo. Again, but okay, I'm old school. I like to see people in person. I find that that's a little bit easier to communicate. But they can also meet with you. I mean, like today, I had like three clients remote meetings, dahil malayo nga sila. So seek advice, seek independent legal advice if you can do it, if you're in a position to do it. Now, so tonight po, as usual, promises to be a very interesting night. And I hope that you can keep me company throughout. And kung meron kayong mga questions pa rin, hindi nyo nga lang pinapadala, nahihiya nga kayo, do it now. It's just between us. Okay? And especially if you just want to say hello, okay? Alam niyo naman, although I like all the segments nga natin. Ang paborito ko, as you know, is the batian section. So if you haven't said hello yet, please say hello. Okay? Now we're going to take a short break. Saglit nga lang po, and then we're going to launch into our wonderful topic. Okay? Sandali lang. welcome back po. Welcome back to Lira in Law, our usual Thursday get-together between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. And welcome to a slightly cold May evening nga, no? Last week, it was so warm, pinapawisan nga ako when we were doing this. Ngayon, you can see I have my jacket on. Anyway, I won't go on too much because we're really going to be busy tonight. Ang topic po nga natin, spouse partner application from abroad, or rather the problems you may encounter if you're making such applications. So now, ang viewer po natin, the one who posed the question, she had a few issues, no? Una nga, and this is why I like this question a lot, because it's very practical, it's real life. So sabi niya, kinasal sila 5 months na nga lang, pero they've been together for 5 years. Okay? Now, unang problema, sabi daw sa kanila, it would take about 6 months to 1 year to get the marriage certificate from the PSA, no? Dati nga NSO. Now, I actually looked into this because I thought that's a long time. Now, the PSA website, the helpline section, I'll just read this to you quickly. So that itong sabi nila about getting the marriage certificate, it's recommended, sabi nila, that the application for the marriage certificate be made after the posting period. If the marriage took place within Metro Manila, the posting period usually takes 1 to 2 months. Outside Metro Manila, the posting period may take 2 to 3 months. You may also secure a certified copy of marriage certificate at the city or municipal civil registry department if a physical copy of the PSA marriage certificate is still unavailable. Now, kailangan yun. Yun ang unang-una yung kailangan. If you're making an application for spouse visa, then you have to prove that you're actually married. Now, what can you do? So, unang question, ano magagawa namin kung wala pang hindi nga available? So, unang-una, I would look into that a little bit more, no? Because 6 years to 1 year, that's against their actually own website, but you never know. That may indeed be the case. But you should be able to still use nga yung marriage certificate nyo, no, yung galing nga sa local civil registry. Pagka nagpasok ko yung application, explain that also in your representations or yung statement yung nga papadala nyo na that the PSA have said, especially if meron kayong ebidensya nga, if they've emailed you, for example, or you found something that says it will take 6 months to 1 year to get the PSA marriage certificate. So sabihin nyo you're proving, of course, your marriage by way of your certificate of marriage from the local civil registry. You have not provided, sabihin nyo, no, a document from the PSA because this is not yet available. Please see, their reference, for example. So it should not be a problem. Now, if they are concerned about the if you like, the genuineness or the validity nga of your marriage, then it may be that sabihin nila, well, in that case, we need to wait. That is the Home Office. We need to wait for a document to be available, for the certificate to be available with the PSA. But I've never encountered that. I think you will find, pagka pinasok nyo nga yung galing nga sa civil registry, it should be enough. But kung ako kayo, bago nyo pasok, because you're already married 4 months, no? Even if they say 6 months, you probably will get that soon. At saka, of course, ipapasok nyo muna yung application. You don't have to upload all the documents on the same day. Most of the time, actually, it's uploaded nga later on, but certainly before the biometric. So yun. So don't stress about that. Gamitin nyo nga gamitin mo kung hindi mo walang galing sa PSA, gamitin nyo yung certificate of marriage galing dun sa civil registry. So yun. Okay? So practical question without, it's not of course one that's it's not one that's addressed in the immigration rules because it's a practical issue, no? So yun ang una. So but don't stress. Now, pangalawa, ito. Sabi niya, question niya, she's trying to come into the United Kingdom. But one issue nga is, so nag-aalala siya that the income may not be enough. Ang sweldo ng asawa niya, £14.10 per hour. Okay? Now, kasya na ba yun? Again, great point. Practical one again, no? Now, if he earns £14.10p, yeah, and works 40 hours per week, then if you work it out by going £14.10p times 40 hours times 52 weeks. Not times 4 weeks and then times 12. No, it's 52 weeks in a year. So that's how you work it out. Now I've worked it out for you. So if that's the case, so 40 hours times 14 pound 10 pence per hour times 40 hours times 52 weeks, no? Because it's 1 year nga, then ang income niya, 29,328 pounds. Okay? The minimum income requirement has gone up to 29,000 pounds, which means you would be compliant. May sobra pa by 328 pounds. Okay? Now, if he works less time than that, then there may be an issue. Pero payo ko, again, a practical thing. Tanungin mo siya, nasan yung P60 niya? Okay? Yung P60 niya, doon nila makikita nga, ano bang income niya for the last 12 months. Now, the P60 should be made available by your employer in April, beginning of April. Mayo na tayo, so he should have it. No? If he has that, makikita niyo doon, ano bang income niya for the last year. And it could be that you find, especially kung may overtime nga siya, that he already satisfies the 29,000 pounds, lagpas pa. So, income, 29,000 pounds minimum. Before tax. You don't calculate it after tax because otherwise it's even more difficult then, no? So before tax, bago niya ikaltas nga yung NI, bago ikaltas nga yung tax nga niya, yun ang gagamitin nila, yung kailangan yung pakita. So it's not 29,000 pounds net, it's gross of tax, 29,000 pounds, but it is now 29,000 pounds. It went from 18,600 pounds to 29,000 pounds, okay? Muna. Now, you make this point, so sabi mo dito, his dad sent him around 3,000 pounds to help with their fees, etc., to cover the rest of the fees. He wants to take a loan. Would this actually work? Now, again, great point, but I read it, that question as asking for about two issues. Una nga, is it okay to have a loan? No? Yes, it's okay to have a loan. Ang gusto nang makita, as against the income, gusto nang makita, ang income niya ba is over 29,000 pounds. If the answer to that is yes, kahit meron nga siyang loan, that's fine. But, kailangan niyo pa rin mag-ingat, no? When you provide nga yung bank statements niya, kailangan niyo pakita, quite apart from the 29,000 pounds, that you're able to support yourselves in the UK without recourse to public funds. If the bank statement show nga na walang pera, as in, well, hindi lang na walang natitira, but actually you overdrawn by quite a lot, then it could be that the Home Office says, oh, well, are you actually able to support yourselves in the UK without recourse to public funds? But that's a separate requirement, no? So hindi nila ikakaltas nga yung utang dun sa income. That's not how it's a separate requirement altogether. But you have to be careful pa rin, no? So now the second, if you like, way of reading that question is, would that actually work? Now, the question now, would this actually work? I've had people say to me, oh, uutang kami, no? So meron kami show money, no? Don't do that, okay? Because that would be lying to the Home Office. Pangalawa, and they're going to ask it, where did that money come from? Kung ang bank statement walang natitira buwan-buwan for the last say 6 months, tapos suddenly merong ang 10,000 pounds or 3,000 pounds or 5,000 pounds, then nag-loan nga siya, tapos hindi niyo sinabi saan ba nanggaling yun, then it could be that they refuse your application because they think that there's something untoward in the background, no? Failure to make a full disclosure. So, kung meron nga siyang loan, that's fine. Kailangan nyo nga lang sabihin, there's the lump sum of, I don't know, 5,000 pounds, comprised of 3,000 pounds that he received from his father by way of assistance to us or gift nga. And the balance, I don't know, 2,000 pounds is a loan that was taken out. Yun. Kailangan nyo pa rin sabihin, saan ba nanggaling yung lump sum? Okay? So again, it's a practical question. It's a practical issue. No? Now, sabihin natin, you get over that now. So you have your marriage certificate, and the income is the income is, so rather the loan is explained. Now, the income is okay, 29,000 pounds. So sabi niyo mga din dito, you can get a letter from your mother-in-law, no? Yung biyanan mo. So sabi nga niya, oh no, kung may problema, sabi niya, kung kailangan yung tuluyan dito, you can come, stay with us. Yeah, which is nice and generous nga. Kung yun, yeah, you can use that, but be careful again, okay? Accommodation nga is one thing, but you can't generally rely on third-party support. So hindi niyo pwedeng gamitin yon to prop up, if you like, yung income nga niya. But nevertheless, you can submit it. So kung kapos ang income nga niya, it's under 29,000 pounds, then absolutely yung sulat nga kay nanay is becomes more important. No? Sasabihin nyo nga, well, even though his income is less than 29,000 pounds, we ask that you exercise your discretion and grant us leave to remain because of exceptional circumstances. The exceptional circumstance being, nandito na nga siya, matagal nga siya dito, his income is 14 pound 10 pence, and anyway, the accommodation is ready for you. No? Kung doon nga din, not necessarily, but more often than not, kung doon kayo nakatira, there's usually some additional assistance by way of yung mga bills, baka hindi nyo kailangan bayaran, o kaya pagkain, no? Tumutulong si nanay, ganoon. No? So you can explain that also. But yung nga, kailangan yung pakita. Let me read to you actually what the Home Office says. So, in exceptional circumstances in which refusal of the spouse visa application could otherwise breach human rights, Article 8, no? Other credible and reliable sources of income, financial support, or funds available to the couple may be taken into account, no? So, yung nga, sabihin nyo doon, it's doon nga siya nakatira, sabihin natin yung asawa mo, doon nga siya nakatira, yung nanay nga, lagi namang bibigay sa kanya. So, don't give up, is what I'm saying, but you do need to explain it, okay? Now, so, just to recap, yung marriage contract nyo, pwede nyo gamitin yung galing sa civil registry. Yung income niya, 29,000 pounds, and I've calculated, kung 40 hours nga siya, then lagpas ng konti, 29,328 pounds, okay? And the formula you need to apply nga is the hour, no, hourly rate, no, in this case 14 pound 10p, times the number of hours, kung 40 hours nga siya, times 52 weeks. Most people go 4 weeks times 12, no, there being 4 weeks and then 12. That's not how they would calculate it. It's 52 weeks. And doon yung makikita. But the easiest way is tignan yung P60 niya. Okay? So all of that. Now, what other things should you watch out for? Bank statements, no? Yeah, 6 months minimum. P60, especially nga kung nandun nga 29,000 pounds, no? Payslips, last 6 months. Now, kailangan nyo pakita yung payslip niya, kung ano man nakukuha niya, magkatugma dun sa bank statement. Okay? So you need to actually be able to see it. Kung hindi nga lang na he has the income, but it's actually going into his account. Yeah? And point it out. Makikita nila itong entry. And if he has a loan or there's a gift from tatay nga of 3,000 pounds, explain it. Because they will ask, they will query it. If you don't explain it, it could be that they become suspicious. No? So yung 3,000 pounds nga, if it suddenly appears in bank statement, then explain saan ba yun nanggaling. And maybe get a letter, no, from his father to say, no, I'm giving this as a help gift nga to the happy couple having married only 4 months ago. Okay? That's it. That's all that necessarily. If they ask a bit more, then they may want to see yung bank statement nga galing kay tatay na nandun nga nanggaling. So, but usually, if it's 3,000 pounds, not too controversial, then they may just accept that nga sulat nga galing kay tatay. So now, we have the evidence of marriage certificate, we have evidence of income, bank statements, pay slips, and it's 29,000 pounds. Ano pa? Okay? You need, of course, your English language, which at the moment is only A1. That may change no, just digressing, that may change actually with the proposed changes published by under the white paper on Monday. So we're going to deal with that separately now. So yun. But you need still, for the moment, A1. Kailangan mo din, of course, yung TB certificate. That is that you don't have TB, tuberculosis nga. But it's fairly easy to book that. So yun kailangan yung pakita. And don't forget, finances, there are, it has two prongs, no? There's the income 29,000 minimum, plus also the accommodation. So kung yung accommodation manggagaling sa biyanan mo, then you should get a letter from her to say, yes, I'm going to accommodate them. If she owns, or if they own, no, the property, you should also do what's called a land registry search from HMLR, so His Majesty's Land Registry, showing that it belongs to them, right? If it's rented, then tenancy agreement would be okay. Kung nandun pangalan ng asawa mo, then that's even better. Kung wala doon, then you probably need something from the landlord to say na pwede kang tumira doon, pwede kang tumira nga doon. Right? So it's a two-pronged requirement nga, the issue of finances. There's the money itself, income nga, £29,000, and accommodation. People always forget about accommodation, but you should not. Okay? So yun, and of course, you need to be able to show that you do intend to live together as husband and wife. Now, how do you prove that? Statement. Okay? Para mga affidavit. Hindi kailangan mahaba. So you simply say there, no, kailan kayo nagkita, naman, no, 5 taon na nga kayo, sabi mo dito, 5 taon na nga kayo. How do you, pursue your relationship if he's living abroad in the UK, for example nga. So he comes home, he comes to the Philippines and spends, I don't know, a few months there, maybe a couple of times, umuwi nga siya. You've not made an application nga before because you were waiting to be married. Now you're married 4 months ago, you want to make the application na nga ngayon. Okay, so you explain the situation. You don't need to be melodramatic, and I advise against being melodramatic. Do not. The many times I've seen people say, "Oh, and we were together for 5 years, and it makes my heart ache." That we've now been together for all that time. They don't care. Okay, unang-una. They want to see, that is I mean the Home Office, they want to see, do you satisfy the conditions? No? It'll probably likely just annoy them if you go on pages and pages and pages about dramatic stuff. No? They want to see, do you satisfy the spousal conditions? Now, tip ko, kung gusto nyo makita nga exactly what they require, have a look at Appendix FM. No? So Google it. No? So Appendix FM Immigration, makikita nyo doon is a list of the conditions. Mahaba nga lang. And within that, hindi lang yun there are also guidance, there's suitability requirements, there's evidence nga. But as a starting point, look at Appendix FM. So you are clearly a spouse, so you don't even need to show na nagsasama nga kayo dati because you're already married. Now, kung hindi nga kayo kasal, so let's also apply this to those people who are not married. Now, kung hindi nga kayo kasal, you can make an application nevertheless to enter the United Kingdom under the same route, under the family life route, as an unmarried partner. Okay? But you need to be able to show that you've had this relationship a minimum of 2 years, and it's a relationship like a marriage. Now, pinalitan nila nga yung batas. They took away the cohabitation requirement, but it doesn't mean that it's easier. No, of course, but a lot of people are living together. Kung hindi ka nga kayo nagsasama, you have to say why, and you need to say why also that it's a relationship like a marriage. Importante po yun. Otherwise, kung hindi nga kayo kasal, pero pwede kayong magpakasal, sabihin natin dito, then another way of coming in is by way of fiancé route. But beware, if you enter the UK as a fiancé, hindi ka pwede magtrabaho. Pagka napalitan nyo na, so when you get the visa nga as a spouse, then and only then can you work. So it's, if you like, it's a two-stage application. You have to do the fiancé first, kasal kayo dito, and then you need to swap it to as spouse. Okay? Yun. But that all comes under one umbrella, which is the partner route. Now, if you get that visa nga, then ang visa bibigay sa iyo, unang-una nga, it's your passport will be endorsed with a visa for 28 days, no? That just allows you to enter the United Kingdom. Pagka nandito ka na, then you will be issued anyway with the proper spouse visa nga or partner visa if you've been together for two years plus in a relationship like a marriage, and that would also be for 2.5 years. Okay? During that time, pwede ka magtrabaho. Kung gusto mong lumabas, uwi sa atin, magbakasyon, papalik dito, you don't need a new visa to enter the UK as long as that visa is still continuing. 2.5 years po yun. Before that visa is about to finish, you should apply to extend that visa. And then bibigyan ka siguro uli ng 2.5 years. Pagka 5 taong ka na dito, at least under the current law, no, you can then make an application for indefinite leave to remain, i.e. settlement. Now, dahil Briton nga yung asawa mo, I think sabi mo dito, British siya, no? You normally would not be required to wait another 12 months after getting indefinite leave to remain because you're married to a British citizen before applying for naturalization, which is to get then a British passport. So, I'm taking you through what you need to do now, no? With the problems nga. When you make the application, anong makukuha nyo, right? And then the extension nga, then you get indefinite, and then you become hopefully British. How's that for service? So look, good luck to you. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any, keep me informed. And if you have any follow-up questions, let me know. It's a great question, as I say, because it's practical, it's relevant, and it's exactly what you want to, what you need to prepare for. So good luck. I hope that's of help to you. Okay. Now, before we launch into our other questions, and we have many, we're going to go to our Batian section, which is my favorite part. The whole thing, I like the whole thing, but I do like the Batian. So hopefully, they bumabati sa akin, no? So, sandali. Oh! Well done. You first, Natalia de Guzman. Thursday evening to everyone. Manila na. Wow, talaga, you're Manila. Flight tomorrow, back in London. Wow! And you're watching. My gosh, salamat po, no? Salamat. That is dedication. ako, siguro last minute, lagi ako nag-iimpake pa rin ako. Oh! Mariam Garlicia Paner. Hello po, Attorney. Sabi niya, magandang gabi at sa lahat. Happy Thursday po, all kababayan viewings. No, to you too, Miss Paner. I hope you're inside. Lumamig, So suddenly I noticed today, for the first time, kasi Monday, I put away my coats. They're back out. So, Ms. Paner, and another interesting topic with Attorney Lira. I hope so. I mean, it's great, the questions that I get. No, I know we've been doing this nga a while, and Ms. Paner and I, yung nga sabi ko, we've been together now 5 years doing this. It's actually great, and it's so I'm truly humbled that you take the time, you ask the questions, no. And you should ask the questions, no? Outcast, another night, another good topic. Salamat po, salamat. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy receiving your questions, going through it, especially given all these new publications the white paper. I'm gonna touch on that. But it's a lot of pages. So, Egay, the great guy from London. Mild Thursday weather. Mild. You're such an optimist, no, Egay? Mild. It's cold. Mild weather to Attorney Lira and to the viewers. Worked in Canary Wharf today and taking care of Justin now. Oh, Justin is a lovely, lovely boy. How's your visit to Isabella Plantation? I went. That's so funny that you remember. Now, it's still good news. So let me just read the rest. It's still good news, Attorney Lira. Sabi niya, I'm still Tap ambassador, no? Send ambassador. It's a money remittance to Pinas. Bonus of £15 for first-time user. Looking forward to lots of learning again, and to Attorney Lira's lovely voice. A guy, the great guy. Thanks for asking about Isabella planting. I went actually. Yeah, it's beautiful. No, all the flowers are blooming, azaleas. No, and yeah, it's no, it's great. No, I had a great time, and I'm glad I went when I did. Lumalamig na nga uli. So I'm not sure that I would enjoy it as much maybe this weekend as I did last weekend. No, yeah, it's got to be cold. It's got to be cold. Now, tingnan ko meron pa tayong mga questions. Otherwise, we're gonna launch into our many other questions. Oh, si Ma'am Cora. Magandang gabi, sabi po niya. No? Magandang gabi, our pretty host, Attorney Lira, and everyone. Ma'am Cora is lovely. I've had the pleasure to meet with Ma'am Cora, and she's great. She's lovely. Can I say? What can I say? Yeah, we have lots of questions, you know, lots of questions, and big topics also. No, I'm glad to be of assistance, but really, we may need to add a few hours to our broadcast to deal with all the questions. Oh, Lucille Ancliffe. Hello po, Attorney. Oh, wow! How gorgeous are you? Hello, Lucille. Kamusta po? Are you well? No? Oh, that's so nice to say hello. Wow. Salamat po, no? It's kind of, look, kung nanonood kayo, I get sometimes people nga, no, they see me in the office, o tinatawagan ako, sabi, oh, nanonood ako, lagi, every Thursday. And I always say to them, well, why didn't you say hello? Oh, nahihiya kami. Huwag kayong mahiya. No? It's between us. Now, so tingnan ko nga kung meron pa tayong nangangamusta. Otherwise, oh, Miss Paner, sabi po niya, oh, talaga nanonood siya because she's replying, no? I'm okay po, Tony Lira, salamat po. Pero dito po kami sa Cheltenham. Mainit po ngayon. Talaga? Wow! Sa Cheltenham mainit daw? Not in Richmond, no? I am. My office is in Richmond. Richmond's, and it's the end of the district line. No, the green line. It's cold. It's cold. Now, questions natin, okay? And we have quite a lot. So let's plow on. So ito po. So my fiance plans. Oh, this is a long one, no? My fiance plans to file for divorce this year. He and his wife have been separated for 5 years, but are still living under the same roof for the sake of their minor child's custody. He has actually been waiting for the youngest child to turn 18, so that the wife won't be entitled to anything aside from the house. Okay, I'm coming back to that. Here are my questions, sabi niya. How long does it take to finalize a divorce in the UK? No? And then she asks, while the divorce is not yet finalized, can I apply for an unmarried partner visa? 3, what are the possible grounds if the wife refuses to sign the papers? Note, the wife is also an immigrant. Okay. Then, if I apply for an unmarried partner visa, will I be allowed to work in the UK? How true are the current rumors regarding visa changes? Will spouse visas be affected if we get married in the future? My fiance is British citizen. Jam-pack, no? Great question. So let's go through it. Now, unang-una, the issue of, there are two main issues now: family law and immigration. So let's look at the family law issues first. Unang-una, it's not necessarily correct, no, that the wife will not be entitled to anything but the house even after the child turns 18, because it could be that you find actually that she applies for maintenance or lump sum or pension sharing order. So just because the child is turning 18 does not mean na mawawala na yung claim niya, okay, yung asawa. So just a point to make. Now, divorce time depends on how quickly partly the wife reacts to the papers nga, and of course the court, how quickly they actually issue things. They're actually in fact quite fast, because applications for divorce now petitions for divorce now are made online. Okay, and they're generally quite fast. Normally, I say to clients, subject to anything untoward, like defense against divorce, normally you should allow 6 months. Normally, I get it done faster than that. But there are times now that you need to wait. Can't do anything about you can't take steps within that certain time. So there are times now after the conditional order that you have to wait. It's a kind of a cooling off period nga, okay? But if you allow 6 months subject to anything untoward happening nga, that should be fine. Now, so sabi mo nga dito, no, now, so let's look now at immigration, okay? So I'm assuming, let me assume nga, I may be wrong, that you're here with a visa. So sabihin natin skilled worker ka, and you're looking simply to swap, okay? Kung overstayer ka, so wala ka nang visa nga dito, then it's a different, ibang batas kailangan mo tignan. But let's just assume that indeed meron kang visa, skilled worker, and you're allowed to swap over to that of under the partner route. Then yes, you can make an application. Can you, so question mo, even though the divorce is not yet finalized, can you apply an unmarried partner visa? Yes, you can. Okay? But this is assuming that meron kang visa and you can swap. Then you go back to the possible grounds if the wife refuses to sign the divorce papers. There are limited ways of limited grounds now for refusing, and they would be, for example, jurisdiction. If you say that the court does not have jurisdiction because the jurisdiction should be with the Philippines, for example. But it's very hard now to go against it. More likely, kung di nga siya pipirma, then you need to look at making an application to the court for what's called deemed or substituted service. So an order by the court to say, go ahead, even though hindi mga siya pumipirma. So look it up. It's called deemed or a substituted service. It's a separate those are separate applications. So which one you choose depends, of course, on circumstances. Pero yun ang application. Deemed, so it's deemed that you've served it, hindi nga lang siya sumasagot, or substituted service. So you say, can I serve by sending my email, for example. Deemed or substituted service. Kailangan nyo nga yung bagong tutuloy kung hindi nga siya pipirma. So let's go back to the issue of immigration, okay? Now, so if you apply for an unmarried partner, will you be allowed to work in the UK? No? Now, and this is something that's often mistaken by people. So akala nila, pagka nagpasok ka na ng application, then you can work, for example, because of course spouse visa allows for working. Hindi po yung tama. You can work under this if you get the visa. So for example, kung skilled worker visa ka, nandito ka on employment, pinalitan mo, you made an application today for spouse visa or partner visa, hindi ibig sabihin na pwede kang magtrabaho ngayon for anyone, for everyone. No, because you don't get the, if you like, the conditions do not change just because you made a new application. So yung condition mo under the skilled worker route continues until it is properly changed by you getting the actual visa. Pagka binigyan ka na ng visa as a spouse, then and only then can you work for anyone. Really, you can be self-employed, employed, student, mix of student, and also say a worker because then you have a spouse visa, because then there's no limit as to the type of employment you can undertake as a spouse. But just making the application does not give you, if you like, additional rights. So the answer is no. If you apply, a question: if I apply for unmarried partner visa, will I be allowed to work in the UK? Applying on its own does not give you the right to work in the UK. When you get a visa as an unmarried partner, so much like a spouse, then yes, pagka may visa ka na, then you will be allowed to work in the United Kingdom. So you're allowed to work in the UK as an unmarried partner, as a spouse, but not as a fiancé. Pagka fiancé ka, kailangan palitan yon, and again the same thing, until you get your spouse visa, you're not allowed to work. So be careful. Now, it's a different thing again kung wala kang visa. Making an application says an unmarried spouse nga does not give you suddenly the right to be able to work. Does not give you a visa because it's still pending nga. If you are in fact an overstayer, it does not cure the problem. But there, ibang mga batas ng titignan nila. You should absolutely take legal advice kung wala kang kung paso ng visa mo, kung overstayer ka na, kung TNT ka nga dito, no? Because that's quite a lot more complicated, and you should take advice because I often say, then you have a precarious immigration, status. So be careful. Okay, so you're on. Now, I'm sure you've noticed this, no? So I've not yet dealt with the issue of how true, sabi mo, are the current rumors, chismis daw, regarding visa changes. They're not rumors. Hindi po yung chismis. Will spouse visas be affected if we get married in the future? Now, my fiance is British citizen, sabi mo nga dito. I'm going to deal with that with the other questions in part, okay? And because let me just say this. Hindi po yung rumors, hindi po yung chismis. The government did publish a white paper, tawag nga, no? That proposed massive changes to immigration, and current immigration rules. So in part, I'm going to deal with them tonight, but it's just it's a lot. I'll show you. Actually, I even printed it out so you can see. Okay. Now, so hopefully that's of help to you. Now, tingnan natin. I'm sure I have other questions. Tingnan ko nga ito. So, okay, galing kay Lucille. Hi, attorney. Ask ko lang po, can a spouse kick you out of the house? Naka-name ng sa kanya, and also can he remortgage the house or sell the house without the wife's consent po? If so, ano pong dapat gawin? Please advise po. Thanks so much. This is a great question. Actually, I've had a couple of clients today in a similar situation nga. So, kung kasal nga kayo, right? You can't simply kick the other one out, even though it's in your ikaw nga lang, pangalan mo nga lang, no? Now, it's strictly speaking, also you can't simply remortgage the house, no? Because of course you're living there, or indeed sell the house without the other one, your spouse's consent, without the wife's consent. What to do? Ito, kung doon ka nakatira, and you are you're married, and it's your matrimonial home, and the property is in the sole name of your husband or indeed your wife, no? To protect yourself, you can register what's called a matrimonial homes notice. It's an application to the land registry. Mabilis nga lang. You can do that fairly quickly. Ang una nyo kailangan gawin is you try and get nga a land registry search to just check in whose name really the property is in. And that way you have the title number of the property, and then you register your matrimonial homes right, no, against that property. So mangyayari, the land registry will note your right against the actual registry, and then everyone will be on notice if they want to either give him money, no, for remortgage, o kaya kung gusto niya ibenta. They will then take, because your name is on there, they will then take subject to your rights. So someone will need to advise you, or so someone will need to tell you nga, that what they intend to do. So kung yun ang sitwasyon, immediately make an application under the for matrimonial homes notice. It's not too difficult actually, no? So that's with the land registry, HMLR, His Majesty's land registry. Okay, so you can do that fairly quickly. Now, ano pa pong questions? Let me have a look. Yeah. Okay, ganito Kim Santos nga. So sabi po niya, hi attorney Lira, spouse visa here in the UK since 2020. I'm gonna apply for ILR this year. Okay, this December. Apektado po ba man yung immigration change? Thanks. Not yet, Kim. Not yet, no? And I'll deal in part with the proposed changes. So not yet. So December, you should still be okay. No? Dahil nandito ka na nga, it's more likely kung nandito na kayo, you've been granted under the current law nga, they would normally have what's called transitional provisions. So kung nandito na kayo, yung lumang batas ang applicable sa iyo, and then if you are new coming in, then it's the new law that would apply. Okay, so hopefully that's of help to you. People are panicking, which is understandable, no? But as I say, I'm going to look at that in a moment for you. Now, tingnan ko nga kung meron pa tayong mga questions. So sabi niyan dito, been confused with some information circulating online. Magiging 10 years na po daw yung requirements para sa UK citizenship. Is this real? Sabi niya, no? What are the details with regard to this info? Salamat po. Will help a lot. For the confusion nga. Now, great question. Okay, so unang-una, so this is where I will now deal with. It's been permeating through the whole thing, the whole show nga. Itong balita, ito ba ng panibagong batas? So unang-una po, what was published is what's called a white paper. White paper, okay? In publishing the white paper, the government is saying this is our intention. Itong gusto naming mangyari sa batas, specifically to do nga with immigration. It will not come into play immediately because some points, some issues may require consultation. It will go to Parliament, and Parliament will then bring it into law, for example. But there are quite a lot of, if you like, steps nga before that. Okay, now. What's been worrying a lot of people is this document. Ito po. Okay? Ewan kung nakikita nyo. Tatas ko. Okay? So you'll see here, you probably see makapal. Right? So, restoring control over the immigration system, May 2025. Actually, I think it was on Monday that it was published. It is currently, looking at this, 76 pages. It deals with quite a lot of things. Okay? So white paper, as I say, is the government's way of saying this is what we intend to do. Hindi pa po batas, but I suspect that a lot of the provisions nga set out in this white paper will become law. When it will become law, will depend on a number of things. As I say, it could be that there are consultations nga, that need to happen now, and then it could be that they also meet some resistance within Parliament nga. So for the moment, as of today, hindi pa po to batas. But you asked me direct question, and I would like to try and give direct answers nga. So sabi mo dito, magiging 10 years na po daw ang requirements, no? Let me read to you the section under this white paper that would apply to you. So sabi niya, it's actually section 265, no? 262, 263 until 264 and 265. Now, sabi dito, let me just see if I can actually find that, because otherwise it's a bit too long. So, okay. So, so it's been long-standing principle that settlement in the UK is a privilege and not a right. Under the current system, settlements primarily qualified for on the basis of length of time spent in the UK. Goes on. Now, sabi nga nila dito, so then I'm just skipping. Okay, it's quite long. These criteria alone do not reflect a strongly held belief that people should contribute to the economy and society before gaining settled status in our country. That means you have indefinite leave to remain, and they fail to if they fail to promote integration, which limits the wider benefit from long-term migration. Will therefore reform the current rules around settlement through an expansion of the principle behind the points-based system. So you kind of get points, no? That individuals should earn the right to privileged immigration status in the UK through long-term contribution they bring to our country. this expansion of the points-based system will increase the standard qualifying period for settlement to 10 years. Okay? So at the moment, it looks like, question mo nga dito, is it magiging 10 years na po daw ang requirements para sa UK citizenship? This white paper seemed to indicate that it will. Now, but they caveat it. Sabi nila dito, we will continue to offer a shorter pathway to settlement for non-UK dependents of British citizens to 5 years, provided they have remained compliant with their requirements. Anong ibig sabihin nun? So, from this, from paragraph 265 of the white paper, it looks like if you're not, kung nandito kayo as a spouse, and you've been in the UK for 5 years, which is the current thing, you will continue to be able to apply for indefinite leave to remain if you are still married to your British citizen spouse. That's how I read the paragraph 265. And then, but everyone else, they say, it's gonna go to 10 years. But there's a way of shortening that if you show that actually, you've contributed to society, to the UK society. So they want to see, they go on about points-based system. So I'm assuming that you can argue that actually it should be 5 years or 6 years or 7 years to get indefinite leave to remain rather than 10 years because you've done these good things. You've set up a business, you've employed people, so going on. There's not much in the way of details, and that's the whole point of the white paper. It's a statement of what they want to do. It's not actual. It's not certainly not actual bill. So yung tanong mo sa akin, it looks like yung nga. Now, payo ko, if you can make an application for indefinite leave to remain, you're entitled nga, do it now. Do not delay. You don't want to be caught out by this because goodness knows what else is going in. Now, so let me see. I've gone beyond already our time, but let's plow on, okay? So let me just have a look. So galing kay Alba Amoranto Coquera, no? For what we've heard at the moment about long-term resident, all categories po ba ma-affected if this becomes law? I mean, if spouse visa lang po ma-apektuhan. Salamat po. Actually, it's the other way around, no? Alba. They're saying that spouse visa, so kasal ka sa British citizen dito, may not be affected or will not be affected. It will continue to be 5 years. Everyone else, 10 years. Unless you can show that you are you have contributed to society and that it should be 5 years or maybe 6 years, 7 years. So yung nga. Now, question nga nito, is it possible to switch a skilled worker to an unmarried partner visa? If yes, what would be the requirements and how long is the process? Quick answer is yes, you can. Skilled worker visa is one of those visas nga that you can swap to an unmarried partner route. So you need to be able to show much the same conditions to, well, actually much the same conditions as a spouse, apart from the fact na hindi nga kasal. So by that, £29,000 income. And dahil nandito ka na nga, you can actually join your income mo tsaka income asawa mo, no? O partner mo nga. You need to also show accommodation. You need to, of course, show nga the English language, which you probably have already exceeded anyway because you're already here on a skilled worker nga. You need to be able to show, of course, the relationship is genuine, no? So all those things kailangan ipakita. Okay? So now, ewan ko, meron pa tayong mga questions. I think so. Yeah, yun nga. Oh, this I like, no? Na-refuse ang child-dependent visa application, sabi niya, ng mister ko. That's sad, no? Nasa mother po, so nasa nanay, ang bata. Pero continuous po ang financial support at communication nila ng father, no? Mula po nung baby hanggang ngayon. Ano pang pinakamagandang gawin para makuha yung bata dito? Problematic, no? Dahil nga, nandun yung nanay niya. So, kailangan yung kailangan pakita ng mister mo is sole responsibility. Pero kung nakatira yung bata sa nanay, then he will not have sole responsibility. And if you can't show sole responsibility, the application will be refused. Nothing you can do about that. So, sabihin natin may, I mean, of course, circumstances change, no? kung may mangyari nga kay nanay, o umalis yung nanay, o wala na pakialam nanay nga, iniwan yung bata, then potentially, no, that he will be able to satisfy the sole responsibility and then be able to bring him in. Otherwise, problem. So sorry, yeah. One of those things, sole responsibility is I have a big chunk of my appeals are to do with sole responsibility. Now, question niya po ito, a Philippine passport holder with UK tourist visa for 6 months. Nasa UK na ako, no? Gusto mag-apply Schengen visa to go to Paris. Pumunta sa application, they said she's on tourist visa and she should apply in the home country. Is that correct? What's your alternative so she can have a Schengen visa while having a tourist visa in the UK? Now, that's actually not entirely correct, no? So this actually from the French consulate itself there. So ang sabi nila, and it's on their website, you must submit your visa application to the French consulate or embassy, or with a certified service provider. This differs from country to country, where you legally reside. However, so where you legally reside, so normal rules is if you're living in the Philippines, you make an application from in the Philippines for Schengen visa, no, to go to France. However, if you are in another country, so you're of course in the UK, and you can explain why your application could not be submitted to the consulate in your legal place of residence. So for example, unexpected circumstances, your visa application may be accepted. So you need to explain. So you can still submit it, no? You can still accept it. So basically, sasabihin mo siguro, you're already in the UK, circumstances change in that you actually have a little bit more time. You want to just spend a weekend in Paris, no? Because it's you're already in you're already in Europe, no? So that's the reason. So you can, yeah. I know sometimes it's easier for people to say, oh, hindi yung problema, but you can. As a general rule, you make an application from your place of residence but you can still. Now, ewan ko, meron pa tayong mga questions o meron pa nga nangangamusta sa atin. Oh, Peach. Sabi niya, Yana Ishi Peach, at least that's the handler's name, no? Hello, attorney. Hope you're well, and to everyone watching. Salamat po. Yeah, I'm well. Yung nga lang, it's been busy. It's been really busy. Every year, or every end of the year, I don't know, maybe I say, or maybe next year it won't be as busy. But I'm always proven wrong. And it's gonna get busier since the publication of this white paper. Now, let me just see if we have additional greetings. Tingnan ko nga ito. Miss Nadella, no? Risa Nadella. Hello, attorney. Hindi po ako marunong mahiya. She's lovely, Miss Nadella. She is such great fun, no? And actually, Miss Nadella and I have been together, siguro, 20 years, madam? Yata? No, 20 years. It's a long time. Hindi ako mayong. Yeah. She's great fun. Now, thank you for saying hello, Miss Nadella. Oh, Miss Paner. Opo, mainit po dito. In Cheltenham, mainit daw. In Richmond, certainly at the moment it's cold. It's cold. It's really cold. But there you go. At least hindi umuulan, ha? I'm not complaining. Hindi umuulan. Oh, Miss Giling! Oh, we love Miss Giling. MM Giling. Hello po, good evening. Good evening. Happy Thursday to all. Happy Thursday to you, Miss Giling. Miss Giling is lovely. And her family. She's one of the hardest working people I know. She never stops working. And her family, they're really lovely people. She's I'm very lucky to know her and her family. Always a pleasure, Miss Giling. Thanks for saying hello. Tingnan ko nga if there's someone else saying hello. Okay. Now, just before we say goodbye, ito po. I will be next week discussing this, no? Restoring control over the immigration system. I'm going to also upload this on our Facebook and on my website nga. Ang gagawin ko po, as I say, it's 76 pages, so nearly, and that's in small writing. So next week, I'm going to go through the white paper. I'm going to look at things nga like yung question about settlement. I'll be looking at the family applications, how that's going to be affected. And I'll try my best also to look at the skilled worker route, because there are also issues to do now with care workers, for example. If I will try and break it down for you, because I know it is an issue that has concerned a lot of people and concerns a lot of people. Batas na ba? Is it applicable now? Is it likely to be applicable? We're going to talk about all of that. But for the moment, as of today, hindi pa po ito batas. But you have to still be careful. It doesn't mean that it will not happen. More likely than not, it will happen. So yun po pag-uusapan natin next week. So kung interesado kayo, meron kayong mga kaibigan, mga kamag-anak nga who may be affected, especially if they're looking to simply come into the United Kingdom, or nandito na nga sila, but they want to change potentially or apply for indefinite leave to remain, send them my way, no? Share with them our link, share with them this broadcast nga, and make sure that they tune in next week. Okay? Now, okay, gosh, I have gone over the time because ang daming mga questions, and thank you very much for that. No, always happy to have your questions and always very happy to to be greeted by you. Salamat po sa inyong lahat, long time friends and new friends, no viewers nga. Thank you po to the Facebook groups that they kindly post our contents on their pages nga. Remember, kung meron kayong mga questions, send it over to us, and I'll try and deal with them, of course, as much as I can. And kudos and serious bragging rights to the people nga who have submitted their questions, especially in star question nga natin, no? So thank you very much for keeping me company. Hopefully you'll keep me company again next week. So until next time, same place. Good night.